Hey guys, you know who it is. You know where you are and you know what's happening. Jchats is back. So just simply subscribe and share, and of course click that bell so you know every time I drop a new video, you're there with me. Topics may include growth, development, social issues, broadcasting, even marketing for one's business. This is where we learn together. Jchats, from interests to insights. Enjoy. Hello guys, welcome back to Jchats. It's your girl JD inside another episode of Jchats on the YouTube platform. This is a YouTube series as well as a podcast, so you can be on the go and still listening. And as always, I want to thank you so much for choosing to press play and giving us some time inside of your day. That in itself is such a huge blessing, so thank you so much. Don't forget to click like, as they say, share, and most importantly, subscribe. So you can always be on top of some of those interviews that I have within Jchats, whether it's conversations with artists in the creative industry, those in business, even those pertaining to health. It's a broad-based conversation that I always try to have with you in mind, because it's always from insights to turning interest into insights. There you go. So welcome to it. And you're seeing a young lady sitting to my left, according to my screen. I hope I did it correctly, or it might be this way, because when it's done recording, we'll see what it says. But welcome to Nariscia Philip-Peters. Now, I think I've met this young lady maybe twice in my life, but thank God for the social media platforms. We can always see each other in terms of what we're engaged in and what activities that we're heavily pursuing. Now, Nariscia Philip-Peters, she has a very detailed bio, so I'm going to give you just a bit of it, because the lady is a busy woman. Yeah. Nariscia Philip-Peters is an integrative nutrition health coach. She's also a full-time employee, wife, and mother. So I don't know how she does all three. She'll tell us. She holds a BSc in honors in environmental science, minor chemistry, and from Calvin University in South Carolina, USA. Nariscia has also earned her health coach certification through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in NYC. And she is a certified personal trainer. I told you there's a lot she's doing, so I'm not done yet. She's a certified trainer through the International Sports Conditioning Association. Mrs. Philip-Peters is the managing director of Holistically You. She inspires women to find their rhythm on their wellness journey through her programs, which focuses on proper nutrition, because we all need that, physical activity, some of us lack that, and also stress management, and also self-love, I should say. She's also a published author, and her work is featured in the book 20 Beautiful Women, Volume 6. Nariscia Philip-Peters, really is here to aim to help us live our healthiest life right now. Good morning to you, honey. Nice to have you.
Good morning, everybody. Hi.
That's a lengthy bio there. How do you find time to survive?
Time management and lots of support. I'm not going to lie. I have lots of support.
Two great factors that help us really achieve everything we can. So
Definitely.
You are, as I mentioned, you're a health coach, speaker, as well as an author. So let's and mother and wife, right? So tell us a little bit, for those that don't know exactly much about you, not to delving too much into your personal life, obviously, but where are you from? And tell us about the reason you dived into becoming a health coach, and most importantly, what is a health coach?
I am from South Trinidad.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been a Southie. Everybody always asks me why I don't move up north, because I enjoy the quiet life at times.
It's absolutely beautiful in South. Don't take them on.
It sure is. And even my day job, it's South, but it's on the other side of the country. So I get to see the beach a lot. Don't actually go into the water most times, but I do get to see the beach a lot. So that's a good view, all the same, and I appreciate that. What else about me? I have two kids. I have two kids, and one will be writing C very soon.
Yeah.
So that in itself is a lot, because it's been a bit frustrating, I won't lie, with everything that's been going on with with this pandemic
COVID-19
and causing all the changes and so forth. But we are appreciative of the fact that, you know, they decided to have it in August so that the kids could finally get it over with, you know, and relax just a
Yeah,
tad.
because they
You
too are
know?
stressing out a bit.
Exactly. And I mean, as parents, we're stressing them out. You need to
Yes.
study, you
Yeah.
know, so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. So
So
health coaching.
right, health coaching. Why go into that? Do we need it?
But I realized that I was always doing it. I just never knew there was a term for
Term.
it. You know, ever since I could remember myself growing up, I didn't like eating certain foods, but I ate it anyway because I know it's healthy for you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I like exercise, but because of the fact that there were things like diabetes and high blood pressure in my family, aunts and, you know, they have it on both sides, mom
Yeah.
and dad, dad sides of the family. I was like, okay, you know what? I don't want this to happen to me. So I would keep doing certain things.
Right.
But then go to school to the US and freshman 15 plus kicks in and, you know, you put on weight. Because when I went up to school, I was like 117 pounds. It was the skinniest thing.
Right.
And by the time I came back home, I had put on like 20 pounds or more, you know. But I had let everything go because, well, you're young, so, you know, you could do anything you want.
Yeah.
And it's only when I had my daughter, that's when I got back into the whole health and
Holistic.
wellness. Yeah.
So how long have you how long has this company been around, Holistically You? And what's the concept behind that name as well? Obviously you can tell by we know the definition of holistically, but talk to us about that.
Yeah. It's been almost 3 years that we've been registered and functioning.
Right.
And the funny part with it, an interesting story, which also kind of speaks to health and wellness as well. I graduated with my health and wellness certification, and I was just like, I'll wait a little bit because I'm not ready to put myself out there. You know, I'm not the skinniest thing, and I'm not, you know, I don't necessarily look the part of a health coach per se. And one of my friends at the time, they started a business, and they were like, "Oh, I'm putting you on the flyer. You are going to help persons with their nutrition." And I'm like, "Are you crazy?" You know? But they told me, but they had already done it. So it's like my name went out there, and I'm like,
they spoke it for you.
And I was like, okay, well, I might as well actually make things formal now. But at the time, I really couldn't come up with the name for the business. I was at a loss as to what to use, and I was like, you know what, God, I'm leaving it up to you. I'm going to, when I wake up tomorrow, you'll speak to me, right? And this is the name that kept playing
in your head,
you know, in my head. That and I tend to move a lot with what my spirit says. So sometimes out of the blue, I'll just do certain things, and that's because my spirit told me to do it. Most of the time, if I know it, and later on to find out, you know, it's something that I really should have done or not done, as the case might have been. But I woke up with the name Holistically You because at the end of the day, being a health coach, it's an all-encompassing thing. It's not just about your nutrition. It's not just about exercise, which, funny enough, is what most Trinidadians think your health and wellness is all about.
Full stop.
They just want to focus on, okay, well, if I go to the gym, I'll be all right. Or if I eat properly, I'll be all right. And not realizing that all the other areas of your life also affect your health and wellness, you know. So that's where the whole concept of holistically you, because we're looking at the entire aspect of your life, from are you fulfilled in your career? Are your relationships nurturing you, or are they toxic? Are you eating things to provide you with energy, or just to make you feel tired all the time? Are you getting enough rest? You know, you're looking at all those areas of your life. So that's where the name came from, that I finally settled on and registered it.
So am I right? At Holistically You, as a health coach, you're guiding us through, like as your bio says, you help us live your healthiest life right now, but holistically. So you also focus on sleeping patterns. Not too long ago, I had a conversation with Dr. Santi LeBlanc, and many persons walking around, existing, I should say, with severe issues with insomnia. Sleeping patterns are
Mhm.
off. So
Mhm.
it's from
Mhm.
sleeping. Many of us are working careers that we're extremely stressed out with, and just think,
Yeah.
we have to stay there because we got the bills to pay. So that's part of
Yeah.
holistically healing. Even as you said, what we eat, how we exercise, even those relationships that we don't pay attention to how toxic it is. So
Yes.
as a health coach, you have a lot to take on in terms of dissecting from one
Yeah.
individual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I want to know, what would be one of the first things if someone is walking into your office, into your space to have that first conversation with you, what really is like the first introductory session? Like, what exactly do you dive into?
Well, I provide them with what we call a health history,
Right.
and it gives us a list of some of the areas that could be affecting them based on history. And then based on that, because this is something they would do prior
Right.
to the pre-session. And then based on that, then we go through it. And it's one of you're asking questions for them to elaborate on what they would have provided. Because again, we're guiding you. We're not supposed to actually tell you, well, this is what you need. Because again, from a bio individual perspective, each person would be different. So
Of
one, just
course.
the way you would interact with them would be different. The way they would understand things would be different. And what they would need would be different from what I would need and would be different from what you would need. So we guide them through for them to realize what their body actually needs and for them to slow down enough to listen to what their body is telling them that it needs as well.
Nurse, in the years of experience you've had as a health coach and also just working within this particular field, what are some of the things you've noticed that when they come to you, we have, even though it's individually assessed,
Yes.
what is a common denominator that you see with most persons that come to you?
We are always looking for perfection, meaning I will start when. It's always, I know I'm supposed to do this, but, you know, I had a conversation with one of my, it's not a client, but they're part of my free support group,
Right.
and they were asking about um, should I exercise even though, and I got a list of even those, and I said, why do you think you need to exercise? Well,
Yeah.
I so I won't feel winded just walking up some stairs and
Yeah.
all these other different things. I say, well, there you go. That's your why. I say, so even those things are not ideal, that shouldn't stop you from doing what you can in the present moment, right? You can't afford a gym membership. That's okay. I don't go to the gym at all. I work out at home and I do not have a home gym. When I first started, I used to take 2 bottles of water, put some sand in it, and then put water. So it got a little extra heavy. And those were my weights for years until I was finally able to buy some, right? You can, if for the mothers, use your babies. When my daughter was younger, she used to be right there with me. So that was my weights, lifting her up and down and doing these squats and stuff like that. There are things you can use at home that doesn't require you to spend money, right? But the point is, it's just to start. And that's half the headache, is just starting. And a lot of people, like I said, is wanting things to be perfect and then shifting their mindset to realize that they have the control to get it done.
I think many of us, and I say us because myself included, I'm always on this journey of becoming healthier. I think we aim for this quick satisfaction, these easy fixes. I wish I can lose 20 pounds by tomorrow. Trust me, you know, and that's my confession right there. Yeah. But I know it's a it's a process, and I know I should keep walking every day, because I'm coming out of the lockdown, and I don't like using the full lockdown term because we weren't extremely locked down like other parts of the world. But yes, restrictions were
Right.
placed in our movement during that quarantine time. Staying in, you ate absolutely everything. So I think most of us are coming out with a little quarantine finish, right? That is seen. But simple walking is one of the things that I've jumped on, just walking in my neighborhood, which they have encouraged, because
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
as simple as that. But
Yeah.
why do you think, I mean, yes, we're looking for the instant gratification, but why is exercising so hard? And also, and also how necessary, you said that person asked, do I have to exercise? But I also wanted to speak on how necessary it is it, in fact, to eat, pay attention to what you're eating. I've spoken to many persons over the years, and I think this is what we sleep on. And people laugh if they come to my home here and I don't have flour-based stuff. They're like, you don't have flour, you don't have sugar, but I know my discipline, so I do
Yes.
this for me. But
Yes.
can you speak on those things that we may not realize is so effective in healthcare when it comes to what we eat, what we put into our mouth?
Yeah. Most of us have a car or know somebody who has a car,
Yes.
right? And we all know if you don't service the car properly, the car won't go. Or the car will go to a certain point and then it will shut down literally on you.
Yes.
Smoke, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing with your body. If a car is parked up for a certain period of time, sometimes the car won't start,
It
whether
won't.
that means the battery is
Yeah.
dead or whatever the case might be, right? Now,
Right.
I don't know much about cars, so you'll have
But
to
it's
speak
true.
to some,
Experienced it
right?
too many times.
But exactly. So ever so often you start the car and all that good stuff. Same thing. Your body requires a certain type of fuel. This is where what you eat comes into play. And then it also requires you to actually use the body the same way you have to use the car for it to keep going a
Keep it
certain way.
active. Yes.
Keep it active. So you would notice that a lot of older persons on a morning when you're on your commute to work, you see them walking. You have the sticks for the dog, and you see them walking. Now they're not doing anything strenuous, but they're keeping their body moving and active, and it keeps them flexible and they stretch. And that's the basics. Even if you do absolutely nothing else, at least you're keeping your joints functioning properly and you're helping your muscles to stay supple and limber, as opposed to just staying on a bed, doing
Yeah.
nothing whole day, and then by the time you have to walk now, it aches and pains. So that's it's in a nutshell from person's understanding why the two are important, just from a general day-to-day perspective. To use me as an example, and I'm a health coach, I did not follow my own advice a while back. And with my day job, I get up excessively early because I have a 2.5 hour commute.
Right.
And after a while, because I wasn't managing my time properly, I was barely getting any sleep. So let's say if I'm lucky, I was getting forward.
Wow.
There was a random medical check at work. All they were doing was checking your blood pressure. My blood pressure was high. And I didn't feel a thing.
Isn't that
Normally when your
something?
pressure is high,
Oh,
you would
it's a
feel the
silent
pains
killer.
and stuff. Exactly.
It is a
That
silent killer.
was a wake up call for me because I got the longest lecture from the medic, and he was like, "You should know better," right? And I was like, "Okay, time to get back to basics." So 30 minutes of exercise for the day is not going to kill you. Come off of Facebook.
At hard though. I'm just kidding. I'm
Come,
just saying
come,
what you're saying. I'm just saying what you're
come, come off
saying.
the phone, whatever it is, stop playing the video game, whatever it is, and just
Yeah.
30 minutes of exercise and shift your schedule just a tad. We're not asking you to do just a tad to add a little more sleep. A lot of people, we have all the excuses in the
I was
world,
about
all
to say we full of excuses now.
lots of it, a lot of excuses. Well, I can't because of the baby. Okay, mothers, when the baby's sleeping, you sleep.
Right. I
You'll
heard
get
them
your
say
little
that.
extra nap in there. Workers who have to get up early, like persons from south to go to north and that kind of thing, take a power nap if you cannot work, depending on how your workstation is set
Flexibilities,
up.
yeah.
If you drive, take a power nap. That 15, 20 minutes, well, depending on what your lunchtime looks like, does wonders for you. So you'll
I
get a little extra sleep in there as well.
and I want to digress, but still holding on to that point. I saw some study that was done in either Japan or China, but they spoke about how effective you can be if you take that power nap during the day. And they were trying to
Yeah.
include that in their work office. This is all pre-COVID,
Right.
having
Yes.
that sort of space where you can take a 20-minute power nap. Because even if you
Yes.
do take it during the day in your own home, you're like, good to go again. It does rejuvenate
Exactly.
you.
Exactly. Those Spanish people and their siestas know exactly what they've been talking about for
Yeah,
years. We just need to get on the train,
yeah,
But that's what I would do as well. I would literally go in an area where there's an empty cubicle because there were a couple in our section.
right.
I would take my shawl, put it over my head,
And
and I'd
rest.
be out cold. I just set my alarm on my phone, and once my 20 minutes up, I'm so refreshed. I could function normal again. But
And
that little bit helps.
all these factors of holistic care is just so repetitive. We know these things, but life has us on this treadmill that we
Yeah.
either trying to satisfy others and not satisfy ourselves, fulfill things
Mm-hmm.
in terms of work deadlines and all these things, but we forget the importance of, these simple factors for great health. Again, you said
Yeah.
30 minutes a day. Of course, that is so much, but we need to put that in. We have to put that in because and in my case, it takes a little longer than 30 minutes because, I'm walking the entire development. But that
Right.
is something and what I love about this walk, it's like you said, it's not stressful. You plug in your headsets, or if you're walking with someone,
Mm-hmm.
you have company, and you all are talking, and before you know it, yeah, you've
It's
done
finished.
something. You've done
Yeah.
a 5
Yeah.
p.m., you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, with our viewers and even listeners, I know you just touch on sleep and the importance of it. Again, I know this is Jchats, but also on my YouTube channel, guys. I have to plug myself too. Check out the live checkup where I conversed with Dr. Asante Leblanc on insomnia a few weeks ago. That is a very important conversation you need to pay attention to. So,
Yeah.
eating, let's go into that because that is the problem. Because one of the first things I remember when I met you, you were known as, remember that meeting when we met?
The Kale lady.
The Kale lady. The Kale lady. Because we went to a particular seminar with different
Yes.
entrepreneurs and we all had to introduce
Yes.
ourselves. And Narissa stood up, of course, talking about Holistically You and her book. And then she says, I am also known as the Kale lady. I think it was
Yeah.
Cassia who said,
Passive. Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
you are the Kale lady. So you do focus
Yeah.
on what we put into our mouth, and I've seen
Yeah.
some of your product. You are doing so well with that. Talk to us about the eating of not just kale, but those important factors that we need to introduce in our body to balance the healthy journey.
What we a lot of people don't realize. Well, a lot of people, how do they say it? They eat to live as opposed to
Yes,
real. Oh no, they live to eat
live to
and not
eat. My
realize
mother
that they
says
need to
that.
eat to live,
Live.
right? Like I'm currently doing a wellness challenge in one of my groups, and
Uh-huh.
I asked the ladies, what's what's some foods that nurtures your body and makes you feel good? So they were started calling out some items, and each person calling out different items. So I commented on one of them and said, "Oh, that's great! Iron, calcium, and lots of antioxidants." And she was like, I never thought about it that way.
We don't.
We
Mm.
really don't realize that what we put into our bodies provide us with relevant nutrients and vitamins and everything that God intended for us to get out of it
You sound
because
like my
we're so
mother.
accustomed to just stuff it.
No, you sound like my mother. Hmm.
Well, that's a good thing because I'm sure your mother is very smart.
Yes, she is. She is. She is. I should introduce you one day. Go ahead.
Yes. Right, but we're so accustomed to just eating any and everything, and then again, what did you mention about the whole microwave wanting everything now factor, that we've gone away so much from the earth foods and we're eating a lot of processed foods that are not necessarily good for us. Now, yes, there are times when you're on a crunch, whether it's budget wise or whatnot, and you'd have certain prepackaged foods, but you could still add certain things to it to make it a bit more wholesome.
Yeah.
It's a concept that we call crowding out. So it's not so much that you're taking away the things that you don't like. It's just that you're adding more of what your body actually requires. So you're making sure you have your greens. That's where you get your things like your iron from. You're making sure that you get your protein. whether that means your beans and whatnot if you're vegan, or if you're a meat eater and you eat chicken, fish, and all the other stuff. Right? I'm in between. I only eat fish and poultry. I don't eat the other stuff. Yeah. But that had nothing to do with health coaching. I just went to a farm when I was like about 14, and I was like, okay, I don't want to eat cow anymore.
Oh my
and
gosh,
I stopped cold turkey at one Christmas. I just stopped.
Christmas
so,
too?
Seeing the ham and all these things on the table. I'm like,
nah. Let me say this. You know how many times I say, okay, Jay, I'm going to stop eating meat because I want to do it, and just stick on fish. I'm going to stop. And then Christmas comes and I say, you know what, I'm going to stop right after Christmas.
Right after.
I still eat meat.
That's the thing. Tomorrow, but the tomorrow never comes.
No,
no. It never comes. But in terms of the food, you just have to make sure that you incorporate a little bit of each one of those areas. And of course, you need to get in your vegetables. Outside of the nutrients and stuff it provides, you're also getting good fiber. Because let's be real, a lot of people are constipated. Because one, they don't get enough fiber, and two, they don't drink enough water.
That's another thing. Another thing we sleep on. That water. I have too many friends, and you ask them, they drink everything under the sun. The alcohol, they love a juice, but do you drink water? No. And I don't think
I don't
realize.
Like the taste.
I don't like. Can you imagine? I don't like the taste of water, and I'm like, water though,
Yeah.
And so these are the things that we need to change. Increasing our water. Try to have. Would you say how many liters per day do you advise for that?
You take your body weight and divide it by 2, and that will give you the amount of ounces that you would require to drink, generally speaking. Now, granted, if you're an AC holder, some people be like, well, I'm not thirsty, but your cells would still dry out from the AC, so you still need to keep to drink a certain amount of water. Yeah.
And most recently, even if you're talking about holistically healthy, I had a conversation with Zakia Mills, who is the manager and owner of
For your hair, yes,
Urban Hair Beauty. Sorry, and she talks about, Jay, are you drinking enough water? I'm like, yeah. Well, your hair says you're not. I'm like, oh,
yes.
And so it speaks in your hair. So
and on your skin.
And your skin. So you see, all these organs are shouting at us that they need more water. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we spoke about exercise, spoke about eating. What about us as a health coach? Can you speak on those toxic relationships we love to stay committed to?
Well, the thing with the relationships, okay. Let me give you as an exercise I usually do with everybody. It's called a dinner party.
Right.
You think of 5 persons that you do not want to come to this party because they like to gossip. There is always some confusion. It just wouldn't be fun if they're there.
Right.
Right?
Sort of negative energy.
People, negative energy.
Right.
Now think of 5 people that you want at that party. They are going to be the VIPs. They are the life of the party. They're going to make it fun. They can interact with everybody, all these kind of things. You have those 5 people?
Yes.
Now here's the exercise.
Oh, Lord.
If somebody else had to do this exercise, where would you fall on that list?
I sometimes think, I think, people always say, Jay, you're so bubbly, so friendly, so I think I can sit under the positive, but then sometimes I'm not. If you're speaking about a party, I'm not a partier. So I will be the bum. I'm like, yo, it's time to go now.
I'm an introvert. I don't really like to go out either. But at the same time, when I do, it's fun.
It's fun.
But
yes.
Yeah. But the idea behind that exercise is for people to realize that sometimes the toxic person is yourself.
Yeah.
You have a toxic relationship with yourself. And whatever is going on the inside would magnify itself on the outside. And then now the same kind of energy tends to gravitate towards yourself because you either don't think that you're deserving of better or, whatever you're thinking might be as it comes to those things.
Especially that when it comes to what we receive from the opposite sex. I think over the years I've learned that the hard way. I guess because of how I was thinking about oneself, you sort of, as you said, you those sort of negative factors are magnetic. That's what you get in return. Yeah. Dealing with. So I guess we're all toxic in some small way. We have
in
things to do.
some way, yes. Yeah. So there's always some room for improvement within our own selves. And when we start realizing the things that we need to fix within ourselves, and then we also, which would also help with our mindset and realizing what we deserve and what we're worthy of, then we start attracting same from outside as well.
So would you say in that goal to attain amazing relationships, positive relationships, we should also try to have that alone time with ourselves and see what we need to fix first? Because they say change starts with you, right?
Yeah.
So, have that conversation with oneself. Think about, and I'm not just talking about how you may treat people, but think about how you're treating self, because I think the most damage we do is the self-destruction. I've been good at doing that.
God will forgive you, but you're always like, gosh, I can't forgive myself for doing this. You're so stupid. And all the other things that we tend to tell ourselves. And that just keeps playing over and over again. And then you start thinking further and further down into your negative space. And it, it could lead to things like depression. But unless you realize, okay, there's a lesson to be learned. Okay, I learned it, moving on, and not dwelling on that part of it.
Right.
Then we tend to stay there. So the idea, that's why part of it is self-love. We have to learn that part of us. The things that we want, the things that we give to other people, and the things that we want from other people, we have to first give it to ourselves. If you don't even know what pleases you, what brings you joy, what makes you light up, then how are you expecting somebody else, somebody outside to be able to do that for you? At the end of the day, the external persons within your life supposed to amplify what's already there.
But Narissa, sometimes we don't even like spending time with ourselves.
And that's the problem. A lot of people don't like being alone and being by themselves. Being alone and being lonely is two different things. Two different things. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to take yourself on a date. You alone. Just enjoy you. I know for the mothers who might be listening, they'll be like, yeah, I just need like half an hour for myself, because these kids, even if you go to the bathroom, they write them, mommy.
As you speak of mothers, and I'm writing that down because I think mothers have so many things. You're a mother. I'm not a mother as yet, maybe. But you have the role as a mother. You have to educate. You have to nurture. Of course, you're a wife. You're a businesswoman. You're one of those that still get to balance all that perfectly. But I've seen so many women that I know, and maybe I'm observing this as an independent woman. I'm not, as they say in Trinity, I have no chick, no child, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can push hard and go after my goals and my dreams, much easier than those that have the responsibility of nurturing and bringing up a child, because obviously all the time is directed to me. But I want you to speak to those persons and mothers, and I'm not calling names, guys, so you're safe. But I know some mothers who have lost their identity, and that in itself is not healthy, in my opinion, as we get older. You have to commit to your children. I understand that, and your role as a wife, and a mother. But I see so many women that after that child or children have now teenagers and have no more time for them, they are still sitting there wondering, like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Because during that journey of development for them, you didn't develop a journey for you.
For yourself, yes.
Isn't that unhealthy as well? As a health coach, have you spoken on matters like this?
Yes, I was there as well. I used to be like, you're not a good mother because you're not providing enough time for the kids because you're working when you should be home taking care. I used to go through that entire process. I'm like, no, I need me time just like the kids need me time. If I don't go to work and get certain things, then I can't provide and make life a little better for them. However, when we have that family time together, I make it as enjoyable as possible. But I also need to have the me time.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people think that it requires an excessive amount of time just to get your me time in. but there's this concept of just time blocking. So if, let's say, you say for 1 hour out of the 24 hours of the day, that's your time.
Yeah.
15 minutes of that time is for you to have devotion with God or whoever you serve, or for you to journal, or for you to read your Bible, or, you know, listen to some motivational podcast or whatever. That's just 15 minutes. Then you go about your day, you do stuff for your job, you do stuff for the kids, and so forth. And then, okay, our next 30 minutes, I'll get my exercise in there, right? And again, you could either do it with the kids or by yourself, because if you do it with the kids, at least they'll start learning healthy habits from young. And then later on in the day, just before bed, 10, 15 minutes again. I think we still have 5 minutes there, but 10, 15 minutes again. You light a scented candle, you drink some tea, you wind down and relax yourself before it's time for bed. Hopefully by then the kids are already in bed, so you could actually have some total quiet time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of time all at once. And once you start realizing, hey, this isn't so bad, I could do a little bit, you slowly start to gain you back. But a lot of the mothers, I asked a question once, what brings you joy? Almost 95% of the mothers said, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, my kids bring me joy too. I said, however, if tomorrow they grow up, they leave the house, they migrate, what's going to bring you joy then? I don't know.
And that's, to me, that is so scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at 40 something, you're now looking to start. It's never too late to start anything. But at 40 something, and I'm using that average age there because by now the kid's big and they're going away. So at 40 something, you don't know self. Because you've been mommy so much, you know, or wife for so long. And I think
that in itself affects other relationships as well, because you don't know who you are.
But I think that in itself as well affects your own relationship with self, meaning health. Again, holistically, you know, might be getting depressed, and I've seen friends who are going through that at this point in time.
Because they don't know who Nariscia is. All they know is Nariscia the mommy, but they don't know Nariscia. You know, so it's a hard process. That's why I try to get people on that earlier, so that by the time the kids leave, then they already know who they are and they appreciate who they are, and you know, they realize and start enjoying themselves a lot earlier. But again, all those things is, you know, different stages within the health coaching process, and just to get them to realize that, you know, they are worthy to be just a little selfish. You know, you're not being selfish to the point that you're not going to give to others, but you're being selfish enough that okay, I use a lot of analogies. So you are the phone.
Right.
You talk on the phone, you play game on the phone, you send emails from the phone, you do everything from the phone, right? That would be your different relationships and all these other stuff. If your phone is about to die, you're going to charge it either by plugging it in with the regular charger, or you'll use one of the the battery packs, right? The portable. Even if it's 10 minutes, we are sure that we will get enough light that we could keep going with the phone, that we could receive a call or make one in case of an emergency.
What do you mean?
So why is it so hard for us to put ourselves in the same level of importance to plug in to something, whatever that something is for you, because for everybody it would be different, right? So if that means I need some rest, take the rest. If that means you realize you're stressed out, reevaluate certain things. Maybe there are certain things you can't change. So for that, you shift your thinking.
Yeah.
The things that you can change, you change it. But for things like you're on work and you're dealing with certain coworkers, those coworkers are not going to change, and you know exactly how they're going to behave. So are you going to make yourself stress out over the same reaction you sure you'll get today, tomorrow, and next year? Or are you going to change the way that you respond? And are you going to change the way that you prepare for work, knowing that this is how they always will be? Because if you keep stressing yourself over the fact that they are not going to change, then you'll forever be stressed out just to go to work.
I think you're speaking to me there. You know, I take it. I take it. But I tend to do that. I mean, because everybody has their own personalities. So I had to find a way now to deal with the personalities that exist around me.
Yeah.
And I would eat that and let it affect me. If my friends would call me a worrywart because I would take it on and not say, hey, let me just change how I deal with the situation. If I need to minus myself and put myself back there and not be involved or not just be in the space, that's what I have to do. And what I love about our conversation today, Nariscia, is that we're speaking holistically about everything pertaining to health. Again, persons just think health is eating and exercising, but we forget this. We forget even our spiritual health, you know, in having that relationship with whomever you believe in. But it is important to tap into that source daily to stay positive and stay driven. Now, you mentioned earlier on about having a group and wellness challenges. So I want to put the spotlight on you now, so you can certainly just let persons know, even though the spotlight has always been on you, but I'm raising the light a little bit now, where I want you to speak to persons, inviting them to your platforms. How can we get into this wellness challenge? You spoke about an external support group. What are these things about?
Well, I have a free
I like how you
health
say that
and
word.
wellness. Yeah, because a lot of people was like, do I have to pay for? No, this one is entirely free. This is just an open safe space for women to come into, so that we can all support each other while we're on our wellness journey. We're all going to be on a different chapter, obviously, but we're all on the same journey to be our happiest and healthiest self. Right? So that group is called Energize Her Wellness on Facebook.
Right. I think I just saw that a few minutes ago.
Yes, and my Facebook page is Holistically You TT. You see my face if you search for it. And on Instagram, it's also holistically_you_TT. And I also have my website, holisticallyu.net.
All right.
And we can also be reached on the phone via WhatsApp. That's 868-758-2465.
So this Energize Her Wellness, is this the free platform you're talking about, where we're as a support group for women?
Yes.
Right. So, all right, this is free, but what other things do you have where persons can get in and are willing to support your initiative of healthcare? Do you have any other programs, or is it?
Well, I have my individual one-on-one program. So those is when once a person actually engages me, that will be as and when required. Right. And I haven't launched my group coaching program for this, what are we in? Third quarter? Third quarter. I haven't launched that yet. And I do have my program called Finding Joy. You can find it on the website, holisticallyu.net/Finding Joy will give you all of the details. It's a 5-week program. You can come on board as well for that. And outside of that, I do speaking engagements. If you have a group that you'd like me to come chat with, this one could be anybody, whether it's kids, adults, men, women. At the end of the day, we all need some guidance when it comes to our health and wellness.
I'm sure the most difficult... Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I was going to say, in terms of persons who I work with from a coaching perspective, well, it's only women. But in terms of speaking engagements, it would be anybody. Yeah.
I'm going to be cheeky. I'm sure, because I see it with men. They seem to be difficult when it comes. Some of them seem to be very difficult when it comes to health. From drinking the water, they're like, oh no, that's too much. You see them doing the exercises, but I think when it comes to, what do you see, your brother?
The other stuff, yeah.
Yeah, having a nice large bowl of kale and cucumbers and tomatoes, you know, they tend to not dive into those things. So I sometimes wonder if it's a bit more challenging with your male clients than that of females.
That's why I don't work with males, because a lot of times, it's just from general observation. Before I was a health coach, I was also part of the Beachbody coaching system.
Right.
And a lot of guys wouldn't necessarily listen to a woman, advising them and sharing certain things. They always, this is just my interaction, right? I know. Don't tell me. I already know. So, for me, it's just easier to work with women because I can relate to them more. So in terms of actual clients, I only work with women, busy women, who trying to find back that back. I don't like to say the word balance because balance at some point you're juggling and everything could fall down and crash. So that's why I would say find your rhythm. There are certain times where certain areas of your life would require more attention than others. So you'll find, so it's like a wave. You move in based on how your body speaks to you at any particular point in time.
Right. All right. So as we get ready to wrap it up, I certainly enjoyed our conversation pertaining to the different factors that are very essential in greatness of health. This is Narissa, Mrs. Nariscia Philip-Peters, Mrs. I got to put that in. Mother, wife, also health coach, author, and again, just a few minutes ago, or a few minutes, you can just put a little bit of a rewind, and we'll also put the info down to the bottom of her website and all the other platforms you could certainly visit. So as we wrap this up, I want you to speak to those women, as you just so rightly identify, you target more of the women that are out there and just haven't made that first step. What is that encouraging word that you certainly want to give to us, myself included, so we can come on to not just interacting with you, but making that change on our own health journey?
We can't do it by ourselves. That's a reality. It takes a village, not only to raise the child, but raise the adult. It takes a village. And as women, a lot of times we tend to think that we need to do everything ourselves. And we also think that it's wrong to feel weak, but there's a certain level of power in admitting that we need help.
Yeah.
Right? So find that help, whatever that help is for you, right? The accountability will always be there. I'm always here. Reach out. Even if it's just to have a 10, 15-minute conversation to get some perspective, I'm happy to do that.
Great.
At the end of the day, I want to share my light with somebody else so that they can also share their light with another. And at the end of the day, all women could shine. That's basically what my aim is here for, to let your light shine. And I've been using that term for a while. I dreamt that too. Let your light shine. And I always follow that. At the end of the day, even if it's just one person at a time that we can help, that we could reach out to, that we could ignite a small spark, no matter how small it is, but get them to start doing the things that they need to do, then we would have accomplished what we set out to do. And at the end of the day, ladies, it's okay to be just a little bit selfish, because if you don't pour into yourself and the cup dries up, then there will be nothing left so that you could pour into everybody around you that you love. You have to be your first love. After God, you have to be your first love. And once you start pouring into you and pouring love into you, then it's easier to pour love to everybody else.
Thank you so much. And you know, are you still into the Kale? I haven't seen some Kale posts in a minute. What's going on?
Yes, I'm actually trying to separate the businesses. So Holistically You will be the parent company.
Right.
And then I have Energize Her Wellness, which deals specifically with all the programs and stuff for women when it comes to their health and wellness. Then I have Love Her, which is all my self-love motivational stuff, which will include actual products in terms of the book. Right. I'm also launching soon my Energize Her Guided Wellness Journal. And I even have some bracelets and stuff. So there's a lot there, and they're all on the website. And then I also have Holistic Farms, which will be the third aspect of the business. So I'm trying to separate each one.
How's that going though? Kale's still there. Okay,
The
good.
kale is still there. My business partner and he delivers every 2 weeks to our customers. That hasn't changed. It's just that I don't advertise it as much because I'm
As before.
focusing more on that part of it. Yeah.
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 But ladies and gentlemen, Narissa has some kales. I'm growing kale as well, and I watch them and I'm like, that is not how Narissa's own is looking. So I'm working towards that, but I love it. I love it. I actually just picked some last night and I have them there. So of course once you seal them, it stays fresh. I was just amazed how fresh
Yes.
it stays
Yes.
for such a long time.
As long as there's no excessive amount of moisture within it, it can last
Yeah.
2 weeks or so in
Yes.
in the fridge really good. But once the moisture gets into it, it starts to make it turn.
Yeah,
And
and
that's with
it's crunch
any fruit and any vegetable in the fridge. So
sealed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So thank you very much. You can check the details below when when you need to certainly connect with Mrs. Phillips. Again, this is Narissa Philip-Peters, and I was changing around your name for a minute. Again, health coach, speaker, and author. One more thing before we go, because you said a book, but where can we get this book?
Everything is on my website
Website.
available for purchase. Yes.
So we're
Yes.
going to the website for that because I want
Yes.
to make sure get your stuff out there. So
Yes.
thank you so much for your time today. I
You're
appreciate you sitting
welcome.
with me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, aka Kale Lady, but that's all right. She
Yeah.
welcomes that name. Yes, many businesses. Thank you for just making us think a little bit more, expanding our enlightenment on health as it pertains to sleep, your career, even relationships that are toxic, how you eat, your exercise. All that is part of the big circle, and many of us may not realize that. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Well, this is why I say thank you so much for allowing me in your world. I know you got your things to do, but you still tuned in, and I appreciate that. So don't forget, click subscribe, click the like, share, and just let all of us gather from the information that is being shared inside of Jchats, even if it's the fun ones as well. Serious fun, whatever it is. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Stay safe. I'm JD.